Hey, what's up? Happy Friday, fellow traders. What's up? It's a Wolf Den. I'm the Wolf. Welcome back to another episode. KPTI. 2 days of this, man. We smacked it around yesterday for a little bit. We cut on the way up at VWAP. Let's just take a look. Let's hop right into executions. So now most of you guys know that this trade had started up in the filings. I'm going to take you back over to the Wolf Den, Wolf Trading, Fundamental Room. We have a new fundamental layout here, making it easier for you guys to recognize these warrants and the underwriters and start putting two and two together. So we had some dilution today on TYME. Here's the prices, gross, net. Here's the underwriters. Here's the offering. And we even put the filings right there for you. So KPTI, a dual prospectus. Here's their plan of distribution. Here's the underwriter. Here's the filing. I don't know how else to make it easier, but we're just trying to help the community and we're trying to help the room. We got guys now spotting dilution. Just the room is growing. It's getting amazing, man. We're starting to become a wolf pack and we're attacking these filings every single morning. We'd love to have you guys come and join us. Okay, with that said, back over to executions. KPTI. Now here's that push July 2nd. Yesterday was July 4th. So the day before that we had a half day and this thing just pushed midday. And then we came up to daily resistance. And then they do a T1 halt, news pending. Just something fishy about this. So we looked at this the other day, 2 days ago. But here's another look from $22 down to $4. Super high institutional ownership. And then we get this push right here. Now, look at the volume. Today we traded 40 million. The 10-day average volume on this bad boy is 2.8 million. Now, we traded 22 times normal 10-day volume. Now, we traded 27.76 times normal 90-day volume. That lets us know this thing is in play today. And on top of that, with the news saying that they have new FDA drug approval, I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. These guys have $375 million they want to dump. And today is the day they're going to get the majority of those shares off. Now, the last thing I want to say, if they're going to try to get rid of $375 million worth of dilution, let's say that they pulled it off at an average price of $10. Obviously, that's not possible. But to keep the numbers simple, that shows you that they need to peel off 70 or 37.5 million shares. Now, today we only traded 40.4. Okay, there's dilution left. There's plenty left. Now, let's get into executions now. So, strong fundamental conviction on this. Now, I'm just going to spot out my errors right off the rip. Here we are getting in small to medium size way too early. Now, this gets me like a 944 average, and I'm carrying this all the way up to 1044. That's too much. I'm going to point that out. And also here at the end of the trade, I need to take more profit as I start to spot minimal dilution and shorts are starting to cover. Okay, so those are the two major errors. The rest was pretty nice. We spotted a lot of dilution on the tape. This was a great tape reading exercise for you beginners. This was just a great day. So we push up. Now I'm just letting this one kind of go against me, and I'm putting together. I'm putting together all of the averages. I want to know my risk. Now, 1058 was the R1 pivot. And I'm not a pivot or a Fibonacci trader, but with this type of volume and this type of eyes on it, I do want to know the retracements and I do want to know the pivots. So 1058 was R1. Now I'm starting to build a position here. Here are my averages. So I'm starting to push in to get leaned into 970, working my way up 982, 995. Now here's all the executions right here. Now you can see how I'm scaling in. And you can see how I'm taking profit towards the end of the day. Also, let's note all of these pluses right here are limit orders. That's passive liquidity. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be a passive liquidity trader, right? Get rebates. We're just trying to be pros, baby. We're trying to do a pro style. Today was 71.33% passive liquidity. We'll take that. Okay, so building into a position here in pre-market. Now, I know my objective. So we open up at the bell. I have a 995 average. Now my plan, as we talked about in the room, my plan is to cut 90, my plan is to cut 25% of the position at pre-market highs right here at 1085, and the other 75%, which is a hard stop, is at an $11 bid hold. I think I had it at 1112, but it was going to be, if the bid held at 1101, I was going to cut it, but I was going to reattack it. This is definitely strong fade. People were saying that this thing is strong. They wanted to get in. They were looking to buy dips, but I've been stalking this thing for 2 days. I did not go and barbecue. I did not go out to the beach. I didn't have a bonfire. I didn't drink any beers. I was stalking KPTI, and today it paid off. Now we start to see some weakness after the bell, and I'm watching this thing. Now this is the volume leader. We got high institutional ownership, but that doesn't matter to me because I know the players are in on this. I've watched how this thing pushed. Yesterday it pushed off of easy to borrow liquidity, and then the tape gets heavy and they T1 halt it. They open it up after hours and they push it up. They push it up holiday after hour. That's a huge red flag for me. I know what time it is on this. I just don't know how high they're going to push it. So now we start to see some retracements. Here we're getting right 1055 ads at exhaustion coming in. Let's zoom in on this, please. So, right, we're coming into the bell 995. I'm starting to add at exhaustion up here. And the high is 1060. So I've got orders in 1054, 1048, right? So I'm getting some work in above 1050, which is good. I need to bring that average up. Now after I get in, my average is about 1018, 1020. All right, and I know where my risk tolerance is. I know where my targets are. I know my risk reward. Now I did carry a lot of shares going up, but the plan, we have a plan, baby. So we come down. I'm not taking any profit, right? I'm not gonna have this wide of a stop and then not let my winners run. Okay, so I finally add in at this failure right here. Now I'm watching the order flow. I'm watching the tape. I have 3 tapes on this. I have tape number 1, 100 size plus prints. Tape number 2, 2,500 and above prints. Tape number 3 is my dilution spotter, 10,000 prints and above. Okay, so now after this VWAP failure right here is an amazing spot to add. I was really happy with this one. This gives me a 10.1365 average. Okay, now we start to fade. I really like this no VWAP touch right here, and I'm starting to see heavier tape. The tape is already heavier. Now once we see this little fade right here, this little this support crack right here at 980, I'm watching the tape. I want to try to spot how are these guys introducing these shares to the OS, right? Now, I know that they're taking out support levels, but I'm expecting games throughout the day. Now, I take my first target here at 957 and 952. I stagger my targets about 5 cents apart. So here's executions right here. So we pull out. I think this is about a quarter of the position. I mean, executions are right here. And I'm a little bit early on it, but that's fine. I wanted to get some profit in, and I'm looking to add back, right? I see that they cracked this level right here, 946. See, using short-term technicals right here, support, and I'm watching how they crack it. Now they go in there and they get a decent amount of liquidity. There was some liquidity sitting here, and instead of them pushing up and try to trick, they just hit it and they went after it. Boom, they snagged it up. They're diluting. Now I'm watching it push. I don't know how hard. This is the first major push. This is a push from 937 up to 970, right? So that's like a 40-cent push. This is the first time we're seeing this. And I want to get a little bit more of a reading on this. I'm not just going to lean into strength on this. I'm hoping that actually gets higher. I really had the majority of my sizes to get back in at like 982, 985, 978. My ads were up here. We see this failure. Not really giving it too much time. I know that there's dilution and they have a lot of shares they're trying to get off. And the news, I mean, they're not going to have a better opportunity unless they create one that's better than today. Today's the day they're going to try to get as much of that paper as they can, in my opinion. So I'm chasing a little bit here. Now I paid for this. These ads right here at 954 959. These ads right here, I paid for. Now I could have tried to lean in, right? But that's a scale. I could have scaled into, 980, $10, but I don't know how high it's gonna go. So I wanted to see the exhaustion, and I wanted to see. I paid for this. So then we kind of push up again, and I lean into it this time. Now I got the read I want. Now I'm ready for a consolidation. I mean, I'm ready for more dilution, but these guys just aren't going to dump on this thing. They have a lot of shares. So this thing consolidates. They start to trap longs. Now I'm watching how they react to the bid. A lot of level 2, a lot of tape reading on this one today. We were going through this one in the room, a lot of questions on the tape, and I was showing some guys how to spot some dilution. We had some veterans in there, man. We just had a great read on this today, and there was a lot of knowledge being passed around in the room, and that kind of stuff excites me, and I know the guys in the room are excited. Shout out to the new guys who joined this week. Welcome to Wolf Trading. Okay, so here we are at 936, and we see a big little crack. Now let's look at the volume. So this crack right here, you can see the bid. You can see the volume is kind of staggered, right? There's equal amounts of buying and selling volume. Now, when I see that lets me know that they're kind of toying around with the bid and the offer a little bit. Now, when they come down to one of the ways that these guys that they did manipulate, not a majority of the day, but they would come down and they would take out the bid liquidity, and then there's no more liquidity, passive liquidity on the board, or it's substantially reduced. And then they would just use smaller prints, I noticed on my smaller tape, to push it back up. So they're smacking the larger buyers, and then they're pushing it up with small liquidity, and they're just kind of creating a false sense of strength. Really, that's the best way I can explain it. False sense of strength. So here we go. I finally take some more profit off of these like 950 ads right here. I have a 993 average, and I'm taking profit at 906, right here, 906. Okay, small profit, 500 shares. I really want to see this thing get lower. Now I'm adding more shares. Here's my ads right here. You guys can just follow along. Executions right here. So I'm adding more than I'm dumping. I'm working a fade core, and I just want to see this thing just fade parade, let's go all the way down. That's what I want to do. I told the room that my targets were 812, and I was holding out. Now I took profit here at 1114, and I'm trying to build a larger position. Opportunities like these don't come that often. This was like a perfect storm. The more people that are hyped up on this news with this new drug, the more dilution they can put into play. That's why we spend so much time on these filings. We want to know what is the meaning behind the move. What are the banks? What are the institution? What's Jeffries LLC? What's the underwriters? What are these guys doing with this stock? We want to be on the side with them, right? We don't want to be with retail. We want to be with the large players. We're spending a lot of time in the filings. We're spending a lot of time watching the tape. We want to know what's going on with the dark pool routes, especially with higher institutional ownership. We're on it. We want to become, and this is what we do for a living. We want to be involved, and we want to have as much information as possible. So here we go. I'm adding into strength still. Look at all these ads right now. I'm convicted that they're diluting, and I continue to see dilution on the tape. Now I have a 965 average. Now we're making new lows. We're pushing. I tried to get another ad here. I had ads up here, and then we're consolidating. Now this is a great opportunity for these guys at yesterday's close right here at 890, right? So 880 and to $9. Now look at the liquidity down, or the volume down here. Now these guys are kind of toying around. They're just printing. They're trying to manipulate passive liquidity so that they can take it, right? That's their game. And I noticed too around this point that there was a lot of 100 and 200 size prints, and they were hitting multi-ECNs. Algos were creating a false sense of speed on the tape during this consolidation, right? Speed on the tape brings in emotions. Speed on the tape brings in human emotions. Human emotions bring in error, right? They bring in FOMO. They bring in fear of this or that, or they just bring in emotions. They bring in temptations off the plan, okay, if that makes sense. So this consolidation, we finally start to crack. Now look at this volume. Now there's a lot of buying volume going on right here for this just to fade, right? That's just another way that these guys are taking the dilution off the bid and then continuing to fade. These are machines taking the liquidity, in my opinion. Okay, so then we have another consolidation right here. Now volume's starting to die off. At this point right here, between 941 and 956, dilution stopped, in my opinion. Now look at this last little burst at 940. 940? Let's see. 126,000 shares. I think that was the last take that they took. Now at this point, they're going to let all of the shorts that are still in it, right? Their job is to try to shake them out. Guys like me who are still sized in and still in it, they're going to let these guys push it up, right? They want price to come back up. They have more to dump. Dilution's over, right? They might be taking a little bit here and there, but the majority of the dilution is over. And then you can see, look how the volume just changes, right? This is a more organic volume right here. So we come back up to 859. Now 859 was a decision point for me. Let's take a look. Let's just look at the last couple months of this. 859 is right here. Now look, you can see the volume, the HTF, the high time frame volume consolidation, right? The volume deposits. Let's really zoom in. Okay, now this is a volume node, a low volume node, a low volume node. But look at this cliff right here at 859. Now this was 859 was a level right here, 859. So we cracked it. I mean, it's been respected. It's using it as support. Now it's using it as resistance. Now look, it flips up. Now it's using it as support. That's an important level. 859 is an important level. Not as important as 809. Now 809 was really where I thought this thing was going to go today. And here's how I got these levels off of this volume right here, right? I want to know where the volume's at. I give more respect to the volume than I do the candles, right? Candles can show you the story, but volume puts the liar detector test on it, and there's the integrity of the chart is in the volume, in my opinion. Okay, so 859, I took a small attempt at it, and I could tell that this thing was still higher. If we're going to look at this on a micro, we got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the ABC possibly, and then onto another wave. We'll talk, Elliott wave theory is another day, but this was a small scalp right here. And then after we got this push right here, I finally was stubborn enough to say, okay, there's not going to be adding any more dilution. Let's start to exit. So I started adding liquidity at micro support. And they were catching, and then I finally took a good chunk, maybe 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares off at 879. I still have more shares left, and here are my targets right here. But even after this small add at the sub yesterday's close at 860, my average was still 960. I'm sized in 960, taking more than half, a good majority of my shares off, around $1. So this was a big play for me. The only thing I wish I would have done, like what I said in the beginning, is not carried these shares up here and taken more profit down here. Now I really thought 810, 811 was my sweet spot. I would have nailed this trade. It would have been one of the biggest trades in like 3-4 months for me, but it didn't happen. I'm still in the position. We'll see, but this was a big winner for me. This was the biggest winner I had in a while. And this comes from the conviction, from the filings, from, just doing my due diligence. So we're happy about that, and we're excited. A lot of guys in the room also caught this one short as well. We got new guys in the room recycling shares. People are bouncing theses. It's just a great day. BPTH, I had 2 swings that I closed today. BPTH, closed out BPTH from July 2nd. I had a 1533 average from the day when we had that low volume pump, and I just closed it out at $14. I wasn't even really paying attention to it too much today. I got a fill, and it's game over. Also closed out OSS. Remember that thing was in play, I think also July 2nd, I believe. or July 1st, I'm not sure, but July 2nd, my average on this was 221 right here. I took a majority of the profit here. I took some more off in pre-market at 199, and I tried to actually get a fill here, and it didn't fill, and then we pushed. We're back out a little bit below my average. Now I think OSS had dilution. Let's take a look and just double check on that. OSS, yeah, non-affiliate public float 8.5 million, BPTH 15.5. They're diluting. Their max diluence is 4.83 million. Here it is right here. All right, so that's it for me. I have a couple more. I have some more orders out to try to close out OSS right here at 176 and 171 because I have a 168 DP. We've talked about that in the week. And that's it for me, guys. Let's hop back over to the room. Real quick, let me show you some trading charts. I want to show you the initial push right here on KPTI. So this was that holiday push. Here's how I caught it. This is when it started to come on my radar right here. I took a little bit of a hit right here, trimmed, and then we caught it. And then I just knew that the way that they handled this thing, I scalped some shares right here and then just cut at VWAP, and I was going to let them push and do their thing. So with that said, guys, the runners. Now the runners are what's in play. OCUL. CRVS, OASM, TYME. Now they had some dilution today. CBIO, DBVT. They also had some dilution. HC Wainwright, Goldman Sachs, and Citibank were on that. Those guys are getting paid today. KPTI, ORBC, and MLNT. I'm still in a short position on MLNT. Happy to see this thing under 729. All right, guys, that's it from the Wolf. Really glad you guys joined us for this episode. We're really excited to have you guys. If you guys haven't yet, subscribe. We're going to be putting these videos out every day. And give us a look at the Wolf Trading Room. We'd love to have you guys in the room asking questions, sharing knowledge, showing passion, just looking to get 1% better every single day. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you Monday.